It's gone well, I mean, all the hiccups that we would have expected, lots of concern and interest in ventilation and, that kind of stuff. So, it's been stressful and crazy and wacky and all that kind of stuff. But, a lot of it is par for the course in maintenance, and then some of it is just things we've never seen before. So,
But so far, so good.
yeah, so far so good.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, we have a good team, and I think the district. I'm not privy to all the conversations, but it's kind of clear to me that most school districts decided we're moving forward with class no matter what, because I think everybody got caught so much hell last year for the distance learning that they just wanted to move forward. So yeah, testing has been a little bumpy, finding staffing. The companies we're hiring had a hard time. So actually today was the first day we did that happen. Okay, all right, there we go. It was just a short blip. So, Jordan, we have a quorum now. We have you, Ken, David, and Mario. So we can start the meeting.
Great. So, meeting adjourned, or meeting. I can't remember what to say. Meeting,
that was quick.
Adjourn. All right, we can go. So call to order.
Yeah, call to order. Thank you. It's been running around. Call to order.
I just put the agenda up on the screen. Can everybody see it?
Yes.
All right. All right, you guys want to approve the agenda?
I approve it.
Not you. You're not a committee member.
Oh, sorry, man.
All right,
So moved.
All right, I'll second.
All righty. Agenda is approved. I'm going to do the maintenance report, actually flip-flop from how I listed it. We'll do introductions to the supervisors first, but I'll give you all just a quick little top view of it. We have, in maintenance, we have a day crew and a night crew. So we have a supervisor for each of those. And then we have a grounds supervisor for all of the landscape team. And then we have our newest position is our sustainability program manager, which is program coordinator, which is a supervisor level position. She's in the supervisor level unit. So I am going to let them all introduce themselves one by one and just kind of let you know what they do and all that. And then we'll kind of keep them around for 20 minutes as we start to talk about the summer list, because obviously they were a big part of accomplishing all of the things on the summer list. So Sophia, you want to start?
Sure, I'll do an introduction and then the things that we've done talk about later. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, yeah, we'll do that a little bit.
Hey, Steve, can you unshare the screen while they introduce themselves?
Sure. There we go.
Okay, hi everyone. I'm Sophie Peltz. I was hired on as the Sustainability Program Coordinator for BUSD, and my role is to implement and expand on the 8 objectives within our 8-part sustainability plan that was passed in 2018, which includes water, energy, food, schoolyards, green buildings and materials, and et cetera, and so on. And so I am working under the facilities and maintenance department with Steve. Steve is my boss. Trying to think what else to know. I was working with the district for 2 years prior as a Climate Corps Fellow with Strategic Energy Innovations. They have a really awesome fellowship program. And so I was placed at BUSD, which is actually my former school district. I went there when I was a young one. I graduated from Berkeley High, and then I went to Bard College in upstate New York. And now I'm back here working in my own community, which is really cool. Yeah, and I really love this role, and I'll talk more later on what we've accomplished over the summer and what I've been doing since I've been hired, which was August 2nd.
All right, Hanara, you want to go?
Oh, hello, everybody. My name is Genaro Maquiavelo. I'm the ground supervisor. And I have a background in landscape horticulture. And I've been with the district for 5 years now. 3.5 of those have been as a lead grounds gardener. And then I got a promotion into the supervisor role. I make sure that the crews that are maintaining our schools are working safely and all their tools are working properly and that we're adhering to community standards to keep the neighbors happy. I am a certified arborist and bay-friendly riskscape qualified professional. And I try to implement green and sustainable practices to our landscape operations at the school district. And yeah, that's about it. And I'm not a flower. I have a face, but I don't have a camera right now.
All right. Marcos, you want to go?
Yes. Hi, my name is Marcos Joc. I've been with the district since 2008. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
So since 2008, I started as an engineer in the night crew, and then I moved on to leadership, and I was lead for a few years, and then I got promoted as a supervisor. So my role in the day shift is to handle mainly the work orders that we received on a daily basis, also other requests, special projects, and also the coordination with various contractors. So my main background would be HVAC. I liked it a lot. I've been working closely with all of the equipment, new equipment, and contractors as well. So I enjoy working for the district, but I have extensive background also in other trades. And so that gives me the ability to provide my expertise to my direct reports and also other coworkers. But yeah, I love working in the maintenance department.
All right, Mark.
I too came on as in 2013 on the night crew as a maintenance engineer. I worked as an engineer for 1.5 years or so, became a lead, and then I was promoted into supervisor position as well. I've been a supervisor for 3 years now, I believe. And so I'm the night supervisor. So I have my crew mainly is to deal with all the stuff that we can't do during the day in the classrooms with the students. You know, that's I love working for the district. I love working for the kids, and it's been a blessing to me to be here. And I plan on making this my career the rest of my life. So I enjoy being a part of the district.
Does anybody have any questions that you'd like to ask us as a leadership group in the department here? No? Okay.
Well,
All right.
you know, I actually have a thank you. I'm not totally sure who, but I live right next to the district offices and the temporary Oxford. And there was like the fence was burnt and it was fixed, and then it was painted, and then someone spray painted it like right after it was fixed, and they came and fixed it really quickly. And I was very appreciative of that. And I wasn't sure who to say that to, but I think one of you may be involved in that or know who it was. So thank you for doing that. It looks a lot better and the neighborhood appreciates it.
Oh, good.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I don't know what we'll ever do about that graffiti problem you guys have over there, but it almost looks like part of the school now.
So can I ask a question?
Yeah, sure.
It just made me think of it, that we've been getting kind of off and on constituent emails around the trash around what's now the new Oxford West Campus. And I'm wondering, like, between you guys, one, I think, thank you for all the work that you do, but where we connect with the city when there's like these properties that are like city/school district. Just curious on like what our approach is around there.
So do you mean around the pool, like their use of the pool, so the interaction there with that?
I'm talking about the photos we keep getting of trash that's up against, I think it's Browning maybe?
Or
It's-
Curtis.
Pardon?
I think it might be Curtis.
Yeah, Curtis.
Curtis, I can't remember the street.
Yeah, I've actually called the city about that because there are some cars parked there that don't leave and they aren't getting ticketed and they aren't getting towed. And so the sweepers never get that block. And so there's like big pieces of trash and I kind of go out there periodically and try to help a little bit, but you can't get it all. So I think that's the problem, is it's not getting swept. And it blows a lot too. I live 2 blocks from there, so I'm very attentive to the trash in our neighborhood.
Yeah. So trash is mostly an operational thing. So Raymond Young deals with that with custodial, but actually Hanato has had some interaction with neighbors. I don't know if Jordan, if you're one of them, but I've seen some emails where he's communicated and we've talked about how to try to beautify the area and make it so that the people aren't sitting there making a mess, because that is our entry point for the kids to get dropped off as well. So there's probably 4 or 5 of us all involved in trying to get that thing cleaned up.
We also,
Yeah.
There's some new plantings there. It's nice.
we also try, and if it's a lighting issue where there's more blight left at night or whatnot, where people can dump stuff, we try and address that with lighting. So, and just try and make it less of, you know, a place where people want to gather when there's nighttime. So the blight's always going to be there. It's unfortunate because people they just dump stuff. But we try and do what we can to keep it up.
Yeah, you have a
all of our
very
sites.
you have a very interested neighborhood community here. So I don't know, I don't want to hijack the agenda here, but if there were a way to combine the efforts of the school or like say the parents groups who I saw out there spray painting stars and stuff with the neighborhood, like on like a cleanup day or something, I could help connect with other neighborhood members who'd be interested in that. So, and then you don't have to talk about it more. Just put that up.
Yeah. If I may jump in, I've been working with some neighbors and the principal and the operations manager to keep a close eye on the school site. And I call it the West Campus Complex because it's got several buildings and a large area. And I know my team of gardeners does a thorough cleanup of garbage and reports any bulky debris that are left behind and dumped that are usually swiftly picked up either by the general maintenance or by sometimes when it becomes a houseless issue, we do reach out to Public Works and they provide us support with that too. So if you would like to join in the committee that we're building, feel free to email me. It's my first and last name, Renato Machiavello @berkeley.net, and I will keep you updated on what we're doing with the neighbors to continue to beautify the area, especially the perimeter and Curtis Street.
And we could, Jordan, we love to work with community members. So if we can, in the near future, get a group together and do some scope, we can create scope and do painting and, you know, cleaning and all kinds of stuff. So.
Thank you.
Yeah, you bet. So what I want to do now is I'm going to share my screen and show you all our summer list. Basically throughout summer, well, about 3 months before summer starts, so around April, we start creating and building the summer list, and it's just a project list. And it's big and small. Everything from, replace a cracked window pane to remodel a space. And that's all we go off of. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And then after we look at it a little bit, we'll come back. I'll unshare it, like Julie was saying. So can you all see that? So the way we build it is at the top, we have it with contractors. So this is contractor related items. So as you can see, it's everything from a soft spot in a subfloor to PM in all the boilers. We modernized the elevator that just went bad on us, kind of short notice. We replaced blinds. So in the room A34 at Willard, that's the new steam room for the CTE program, Career Tech Ed. So the facilities division bought them all new furniture, like really nice functional furniture for what they're trying to do. And so we went in and painted and gave them new lighting and new flooring and all that kind of stuff. And then over on the far right, you can see Y means yes, it's completed. So there's quite a bit that doesn't get completed. That's pretty common. We will keep that on our list. This list doesn't get deleted or anything. We keep this list handy, and we'll pick up things on breaks. So winter break, spring break, and then the list will stay all the way to next year as well. Anything left on this list will continue to be on the project list and be the beginning of the summer list for next year. Okay, I want to highlight a couple really cool things that we did, and there's a lot, but you all know probably that sustainability has been a big push for the district, a big initiative for the district. For the last, beyond 2018, we passed a sustainability program in 2018, a plan. We worked on it for about a year and a half before we passed the plan. And obviously we've been, people have been thinking and been concerned about it for much longer. So we had this opportunity to do this really cool project. John Muir Elementary is lucky enough to have an amazing property that they are on. And on that property, there's a creek. And right next to the creek is a redwood grove with about 8 redwood trees and a couple oak trees. And there's an old broken up blacktop asphalt pathway going through the redwood grove. There's an old rusty fence separating the two. Lots of old non-native plants kind of invading the spaces. And the creek area, teachers like to take kids out and teach them out in the creek area, just being out in nature. So we took on these 2 areas as a restoration project, did some major cleanup, removed all non-native plants, pruned all of the native plants, all the redwood trees and everything. We actually aren't complete. We expect to be done in about 6 weeks, but we took out the blacktop pathway, the asphalt pathway, and we're putting on a redwood boardwalk. We're putting a redwood deck. So teachers can sit in the redwood forest on the deck with their kids and teach them. The redwood deck will also overlook the creek area. The creek area is next to it and below. We're building new furniture out of redwood material for the teacher that uses the creek area. So all this great space. It's a really cool project. And I just wanted to highlight it. And so on things like this also, I expect Sophia in sustainability to work with all departments within our department, as well as throughout the district. But one of the more natural partnerships is with Sophia and the grounds department. There's lots and lots of low-hanging fruit and irrigation upgrades and planting and things like that. So this included lots of work from Hanaro and also Sophia. So
Can I ask a quick question?
yeah.
That is a really cool project. I live near Blackberry Creek, adjacent to Thousand Oaks, which was daylighted, I don't know how many years ago. But do we apply for grants for any of that, or is that all funded in-house?
So it depends. On this one in particular, we couldn't really think of any place to get grants. We actually have another really cool thing coming up, Julie and everybody else. If you haven't heard the word Milwaukee Forest. So this is something that it's not on here, but we actually did a fair amount of work pre-planning. We have a really cool initiative coming up that's similar, where our sustainability leader, teacher leader at Craigmont heard of this Milwaukee Forest, researched it, and then brought it to us. And there's an organization called Natural Urban Forest that helps spread. So the Milwaukee Forest is basically, there was a Japanese gentleman named Milwaukee who created this concept where you plant a forest in an area super densely. So much more dense than you would normally plant an area. And there's a concept with it. It has 4 height levels. There's small plants, shrubs, small trees, and large trees, and then they shade each other and help. So we are in the process. We've been doing a bunch of work to do 13,000 square feet at 3 different sites of this Milwaukee Forest. And so it's King Middle School, Malcolm X, and Craigmont. And this will be our first shot at it. And then we've already discussed doing additional ones in the future. And it's got all kinds of benefits. The carbon sequestration is like 20 times more than a normal planted area. So it's just a really awesome project. So that was something that we've actually got notification boards. We have a community meeting tomorrow on Zoom. We've notified the community, the sites are already on board, the principals have been talked to. And this is a big one where obviously Sophia and Hanaro are both involved. So that's a really, really cool project that's also coming up. And that one, on 2 of the 3 at King and Malcolm X, we're replacing ornamental lawn with this Milwaukee Forest. So at King, we're replacing 9,000 square feet of ornamental lawn. So we're going to apply for a lawn restoration project or a lawn elimination grant from East Bay Mud. And that should get us about $15,000, which will actually pay for all the parts and probably pay for our time and all that.
There are also grants for carbon sequestration. I'm not sure if these projects are big enough to warrant it, but when I was with the Parks Department in San Francisco, we were often applying for those to get little snippets of money for places we knew we were going to be putting a bunch of trees. But they tend to be for larger areas, but it might work.
Okay.
Where did you say you got those from again?
It's, I'll have to look up to get the names of it, but it was through the state. And it was part of the thing where you pay to not pollute. There's the carbon offset kind of.
Oh, the offset credits.
Yeah, the credits. I forget the name of the grant program, but I can ask about it.
I'll look into it. Yeah.
So Steve, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
So on your project list, I don't see anything related to 2 things. One, projects related to sort of what do you do in a wildfire? And maybe that's only because how many schools do we have that are really potentially endangered? 1 or 2, maybe
2.
Muir and Craigmont, right?
No, Muir and Emerson. Craigmont is not in the fire zone as far as like PG&E and the fire department look at it.
So we have 2 schools. And the second one is what did you do over the summer in terms of, you must have done a lot of work for COVID related in terms of windows or ventilation or fans, or was that all handled by facilities?
No, so this project right here that I just highlighted,
Okay,
so it's a contractor project that actually, so facilities paid for the project.
okay,
And we were very, very much a part of implementing it. But
Okay.
basically a contractor went and opened up every single mechanical unit that we have, put MERV 13 filters in them, confirmed that all the parts were functioning. And if they weren't functioning, they let us know and we repaired them. And then they installed the bipolar ionization. I don't know if you know what that is.
Hmm.
It's a technology that is, it's not a brand new technology, actually. Hospitals use it and things like that, but it's fairly new, in widespread use. And so that was a major project that we did over the summer. And we kind of babysat them, walked them through. They constantly had issues and we would run. So we probably had 2 or 3 people that spent a lot of their summer working with those people.
But that's just at the adult school, it looks like, right?
No, I'm sorry, that's district wide. I don't know why that says the adult school. You see right here, it says district wide. So no, that is, here, I'll fix that right now. All right. So that was district wide. And then another thing, so let me see. So contractor, and then we'll go to staff. These are all of our staff projects that we did. So on staff projects, we went through. So actually, I'll let what I wanted to do is let the supervisors all talk a little bit about some of the work they did this summer, and just call out some of the main things. So would you like me to stop sharing again, Julie? I know that's a good idea. We could see everybody better, but we'll lose sight of the list.
I think that's up to your supervisors on if they want the list in front of them.
I'd prefer it.
Yeah.
You want it? Okay. All right. Sophia, you want to go first and just talk about a couple of the major things you did?
Oh, oops, sorry, I was on mute. I don't know if they're on here, so you can stop sharing for me if you want to.
Can stop sharing for you?
Yeah. Okay, let's see. I have my notes in front of me. We've worked on so many things, so I'm just gonna pick out like 3 of my top favorite things. So one of them I've been working on since September of 2020, but I did do quite a substantial amount of work this summer right after I was hired. We're calling it the Reusables Project, and I'll explain what that is in a second. So as I said, since September 2020, Steve and I really formed a unique partnership with some local nonprofits, Clean Water Action being one of them, community leaders, teacher, parent groups, students, and food service staff, and myself. And we've been really focused on reducing reliance on single-use packaging used in the BUSD school lunch program. And so we've kind of created what we're calling a pilot project, which will happen, kind of be implemented as soon as COVID-19 safety protocols allow students to eat in the cafeterias again on an ongoing basis. So what we will be doing is piloting reusable foodware at 3 of our school sites, which is really exciting. It's going to get rid of a lot of waste. Before, we were using compostable trays and some plastic utensils and cutlery. So now all of that, once we implement this at the 3 school sites, which are John Muir, Craigmont, and King Middle Schools, they will be stainless steel trays, stainless steel cups. So that's really exciting. And since August, my work on this project has really involved stakeholder engagement and meeting with key staff at BUSD, and also doing some extensive research on what the best reusable foodware items are out there. And also mapping out kind of the complex nature of our food service logistics and the labor aspect of making this project successful. So that's been working with Nutrition Services Director Bonnie Christensen. So that's just one of the projects. Another one is focusing on irrigation and water conservation. So Genaro and I have been working on evaluating current irrigation systems and identifying where conservation efforts can be incorporated into the work that we're currently doing. So we just recently had EB Mud come and assess our current systems and help us identify potential areas for improvement. And just so you guys all know, the sustainability plan states that BUSD will reduce their water usage by at least 15% by 2030. And so in order to achieve that goal, we really have to collect some baseline data on where we currently are and where we need to go in order to achieve that goal. So Genaro and I have been putting together data collected from our water meters to understand what our daily water usage is at each school sites for all of the ornamental lawns. And so Steve mentioned this before, but the Milwaukee Forest project is one of those awesome projects that will convert the ornamental lawn, which uses a substantial amount of water. And as you can imagine, in our drought-ridden days is really not good. So we're really excited to kind of move forward and see how we can conserve water.
Do we have smart water meters?
We do at some of our sites, right? Yes, that is true. Not at all of them, though, right?
But you can collect a representation of the usage electronically.
Ken, do you mean smart irrigation controllers?
No, I mean a smart water meter, like a smart power meter, one that tells that you can collect the usage, but either through Wi-Fi or Bluetooth or whatever.
No, I don't believe.
I don't think we have that, but what Genaro and I have been doing is, well, Genaro did this is look, I think for the specific like spigots that we have, they're depending on like their throw, they basically have an estimate about how much water they put out per minute. Sorry, my dog's and from there we do an equation about how much we use per day and per week. But our goal is to get those smart water meters.
Right. I mean, EB Mud's got, right. I mean, there's a meter on all of them. There's a flow. There's a calculation that's on the bill, I suppose. But is that just not granular enough for what you need? Is it all across the whole campus or?
So we have meters. Some sites have irrigation meter only, so we can break out that information. Most of our sites, the irrigation comes off the main domestic water. So several of our larger sites have multiple water meters. But no, I was, to be honest, we had not had the conversation about doing smart irrigation, smart water meters, but we do have smart irrigation controllers, which gives us very good information and gives us alarms and things like that for irrigation as well. So, but I'll look into the smart water meters.
Yeah, so I would encourage you to get a good baseline of usage, because you're gonna, you can save the district a lot of money in addition, in addition to doing the right thing.
Oh, totally. That's kind of what we've discovered through doing this assessment with EB Mud. And I was only hired on August 2nd. So we're kind of just getting into doing these assessments and finding that baseline data. But as the school year progresses, we're really going to dig deep into it.
Great.
So yeah, that's a part of our plan. And then I just want to mention one last thing to wrap it up, which is that to help achieve our zero waste goals that we have that are stated in the sustainability plan, we put together sustainability champion role made up of teachers. Some are garden teachers, some are classroom teachers, and they are super champions and help us disseminate information about waste management strategies and encourage student green teams and help with other sustainability related projects. And I help part of the work that I do, I help coordinate quarterly meetings with this group of teachers and assist them in incorporating sustainability activities at their school site. And this is paid for through the Altamont grant, which we write every year. Well, we have gotten it for the past 3 or 4 years. Is that right, Steve? And yeah, so that's a part of the work that I do in helping to achieve our goals. I'll leave it there.
Marcos, you want to go next?
Sure. Well, a great deal of our time is spent on HVAC. It is true that we got a big help from the contractor helping us with the units. However, there are some portions of the units that the contractors were not hired to do, such as the cleaning of the entire unit, oiling, or fixing parts or replacing parts. So our crew went behind them and PM all of the units at the schools, small and big units. So that's a great part of the work that we do, because many of our sites are due for replacement for all the units. So we have lots of trouble, such as Emerson. We have a pneumatic system, and constantly we have to calibrate, or because the thermostats are too old, they need to be replaced, or the parts are too old that they no longer sell them. So we have to refurbish them. And so schools like Emerson or Wheeler that have very old equipment, or other schools that also have very old equipment, take more maintenance because of their age. So we have to, spend a lot of time with the HVAC systems. Controls are another issue that we have to keep on top of. We're not there yet, but we're working diligently to gain as much control as we can, to make it as smart as we can. We started to work with some contractors, for instance, on a project of how to control globally all of the exhaust fans, all of the dampers or outside dampers, so that we can close them in case of a fire. So you asked about that. And we're working right now with the contractor, and they're getting ready to implement programming so that if we have bad air outside, we can command all of the dampers with some programming, and the system will do it automatically. We will be in control as well, but so we're working with them and things like that, with things like this. Also, we've been working in plumbing, getting ready all of the water bottle fillers. We have been switching from bubblers to bottle fillers, and now we're switching a little bit backwards, because some of the sites also want the bubblers. So we have spent a lot of time with the night crew and the day crew on plumbing. We have been, doing our regular maintenance, such as changing ballast, light bulbs, fixing windows, broken windows. There's a lot of vandalism that we have to deal with. It may not be reflected here because our very small items, but nonetheless, they utilize a lot of our time. We have also in carpentry many projects that we did. For instance, we have been installing the tents that now you see throughout the district. We have been installed. We actually fabricated multiple desks, outdoor desks for the outdoor learning environment, and built sheds for the teachers to keep their supplies available or close to them. So that also has utilized a lot of our time preparing for the kids and providing the best environment that we can. Let me see if I can pull one of our items.
So Marcos, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
2 questions. One, have we shut down all the drinking fountains in the district? except the water bottle filling stations for COVID.
Correct. So
Yeah, my question would be the same. Like, when can, now that we know that fomites don't spread COVID, when can we give the kids their water fountains back?
We're doing it now.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
we had previously been instructed to turn all the drinking fountains off. This goes into last school year.
Yeah, right. Before we knew.
Right. So we scrambled and spent a lot of time
Yeah.
at the end of last school year and all through this summer, putting water bottle fillers up in place of the drinking fountains that were removed. And so the water bottle fillers will stay. And we have now been allowed to open the drinking fountains back up. It was kind of, they gave us kind of late notice. It was only about 3 or 4 weeks before school started that they told us we can open them all back up. So
I've got at least one happy student.
Yeah, so we
Very happy to hear that.
we had some bottle fillers that the application was we were able to keep that and the bubbler in use. Where we were able to put the bubblers back in, we will. But some of them, because of the design of the type of bottle fillers we were using, we can't put the bubbler back there. But we made sure that if it was a high or low, so we use the ADA side for the bubbler, and we also put keys in all of them. So if an ADA person in a wheelchair came up, he could fill his bottle or take a drink from it from the button below, so he didn't have to reach up. So we took all that into account.
And my second question, do we have direct digital control that you can control the heating and temperature from your central office?
Marcos?
yes, we do have multiple systems. We have digital systems, pneumatic systems, and I think we have moved on from electrical system. No, actually, Washington still has. Washington still doesn't have digital controls. That's the only school that I think we don't have digital controls. The teachers manage the temperature there. They have a knob to turn it on or from low, medium, and high speed. Everywhere else we have, and we do control the boiler system at Washington, but we call it EMS, Energy Management System. We do have that, and we basically have 3 systems. One that is called Johnson Controls. The other one is from Allerton, and the other one is a new system that is called Pelican. As much as possible, we control them. There are a few places like the bungalows that they still have the local controls. In fact, it is on the list, not as a high priority, but we're looking into integrating them into an EMS so that we can see from our computers, from our phones, how the classrooms are doing, or how do we, so we can monitor basically, because every morning our technicians come in, and including myself, we monitor the boiler rooms to see if they are on. And then we look at the EMS system to find out if all of the temperatures are ranging within our standards, which is 70 degrees. And, after spending about 30 minutes, then they move on to fix. If there's a boiler down, that means the whole school won't get any heat. So they move on and go right away and fix that, or try to fix that boiler, or see what they can do. Sometimes it is a pump or something like that. We're always busy with the HVAC systems because they're moving parts all the time, and there's leaks. There's all kinds of components that we have to maintain, and they break because they're always moving. But yes, we are fortunate to have EMS systems in the district.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Mark, do you want to go next and kind of roll from?
You're a mute, Mark. You're muted, Mark.
You have to unmute.
Oh, so Marcos kind of pretty much touched on almost everything, so he's pretty thorough. What was the problem with the COVID and the spacing is we had to, of course, take all the, not only the drinking fountains out of play, but we had to remove faucets so kids wouldn't use them. So we had to have social distancing, faucets, urinals, toilets, until we could get, even after they started reducing it from 6 feet to 4 feet, then 3 feet. So then we were able to start putting those back into play. And the problem with being out of school for 2.5 or a year and a half, all of our toilets have gaskets and all of our urinals, they have gaskets. And with no water flowing through them, they tend to dry out. So now that everyone's back in school and everyone's using them again, that's where most of our time was spent as soon as we got back to, from the break is, well, not most of it, but a lot of our time. Every day we were getting calls where we had issues with our toilets and such. And a big portion of the time that was spent from mainly, I got to give Tony props. One of our day guys he was building partitions, the plastic partitions. When teachers and staff started coming back, we realized how many more we needed. Initially, it was just the front desk. So that was resources that was spent not only on time, but lots of money was spent on plastic and getting that here and the parts to put it all together. So it was, I mean, who knew we were going to go through this, but we did. And it's unfortunate, but now we got the cards dealt to us, so we're dealing with it. And to touch on the wildfires, we've installed the HEPA filtrations in every classroom and most of the offices throughout the district. So that helps with when we have smoke blowing through the districts. So that's a few of the things that we've done throughout the summer and the past to just prep for COVID and have a safe environment, the safest environment possible for all of our staff and students. So I feel pretty proud of what we've done and accomplished.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. We'll end up being in much better shape than we ever were for indoor air quality and things like that because of all the things we've had to do for COVID. And one of the things that really kind of crossed over, we had been looking for solutions for the smoky air during the fire season for a couple years, and the whole COVID thing kind of like pushed that along. Honaro, do you want to go?
Hello, everybody. Yeah, so one of the really cool things we are working on right now is training the grounds staff to identify hazards in the landscape and risky trees. I have a big focus on trees because of their longevity in our sites. Some of these trees are older than most of us are, and I really value those and keeping them on site through preventive maintenance. So as we continue our trainings on tree risk assessment, we definitely, our list of for pruning grows, and we have done a lot of risk mitigation with trees that have been, standing for a long time without a lot of maintenance. To touch back on David's questions about fire prevention, we have been doing a lot of building clearance through our pruning routines. And we have done a few large cleanups of flammable materials from Craigmont School. We have, luckily we have some really great neighbors there that are always keeping their eyes on the hills due to the high risk of fire in our beautiful state. So I reached out to the fire department, Berkeley Fire Department, and got clear on the standards that they require, and wherever was available and possible, we adhere to the standards. We have a few trees that are very large, and giving the building the sufficient clearance from those trees would mean removing the trees. So we focus a lot on clearing dead wood and reducing ladder fuels. which would send the flames up onto the tree canopies. So that's been one of the projects we've been working on, and these projects happen on a daily basis. So that's been really fun and engaging with the crew. And, we definitely rely on all eyes on the sites from neighbors and teachers and the principals and the other maintenance crews that might not be grounds, but they're always keeping an eye on the sites and helping us out. So that has been we've been building a really strong grounds crew in terms of that. Another cool projects we're working on is removing the parking strips, the grass on the parking strips, also known as doggy strips, from our sites, and sheet mulching and using low water plants or serry plants that require no additional water to maintain. That's been another point of pride, that we are reducing fuel usage like gasoline from running machines. And we're also working on weed abatement. So we're removing English ivy from sites as we can, little by little. Pampas grass is another environmentally dangerous plant due to their how much they spread and how quickly, and they have no natural herbivore that really controls that plant, especially in the sites that are closer to open parks and wildlands, excuse me. So those are some of the projects we've been working on as a overall goal to reduce noxious plants, and also just the regular upkeep of our sports fields, and filling in divots and holes, tripping hazards out of our fields and our playgrounds. So the regular maintenance takes up most of our time in the grounds crew, but we do have some long-term goals. Another interesting thing we've been working on is introducing more native species to the landscape, which are more drought tolerant and require a little less maintenance. They're not maintenance free, but they do require a little less maintenance. So just reducing the workload for our crews, as well as increasing the value of our property for, to increase the aesthetics for our neighbors, and the level of joy that students and teachers get from being in our sites.
Yep. You done, Mark? Hanar? Okay, great. All right.
Yeah. If there's any questions.
Yeah, does anybody have any questions for anybody, any of the supervisors or myself or anything?
I don't have any questions. I just want to say thank you for all the work that you guys have done throughout the schools and in the summer and in the time of crisis with COVID, that we've really depended on you, and you've really come through. And so I really want to thank you for all your work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And if I may, Jordan, where's she there?
Yeah, she's there. What?
Jordan, thanks for being one of the neighbors that actually looks out for our properties. You guys in the community mean a lot to us. your eyes and ears when we're not there. And we get calls often from neighbors that are looking at our Oxford on the hill. Since we're not using it anymore, we have neighbors that are looking out. We get calls, hey, there's some kids messing around, something. So I really appreciate the pride and that you guys take in your neighborhood and the help that you guys give us feedback. I really appreciate it myself. So I want to say thank you for anybody who's a neighbor to our neighboring schools. It means a lot to us because we're all in the same thing. We all want the same goal, man. We want a nice neighborhood to grow up and have our kids be happy and healthy and safe. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
All righty, so I can let the supervisors all go. We just have a couple minutes to wrap up the meeting, really, a couple of detail items. So you guys can all head out and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks for your time, guys.
Okay, thank you so much. And I'm always available by email. Feel free to reach out with anything.
I'll just walk in the next room myself.
Okay, take care. Bye.
All right. All right. So I'll share my screen one more time to pull up the agenda so we can wrap up the evening here. So there's not really an item under committee discussion, but if you all wanted to discuss something, we can. And then the agenda items for the next meeting, we'll have the first quarter report and the first interim report. First interim report is a financial report, and that one is required by accounting code and all that kind of stuff. I do my own report, and then it gets included in the district's report for the first interim. It's the first 4 months of the year, and then the first quarter is a little less formal. We'll talk about some of the things that we've done over the first quarter of the year. All right, so that's at the next meeting. Committee statement to the board. You don't need to do one if you don't want. There's not, no public to comment.
Steve,
Yeah.
when you say committee statement to the board, is that like during committee reports, or what is that referring to? Because you also had like a committee statement on your annual plan. So I'm just wondering what that refers to.
I think it's like committee comments. Oh, can you guys hear me?
You froze for a second.
Okay. Yeah, my internet is starting to act up. Let's ignore that that's on there right now. I don't know if it's misplaced. It would be committee comments, but we're not doing that. That's at the interims. So
Okay.
never mind the committee statement to the board. All right. Do you want to call for adjournment?
Meeting adjourned.
Jordan?
Sure, meeting adjourned.
Second.
All right, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, folks.
You're
Thanks, Steve.
welcome. Yeah, thank you for your time.
Have a nice night, everybody. Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you, Steve.
You bet.
I can't close it.